Let's take a deep breath as we start. Welcome to our final chapel of the semester and of this 2025. We stand at the edge of rest and renewal, and we hope that we move together into the light. We honor Advent's longing and hope, Hanukkah's courage and resilience, Kwanzaa's wisdom and strength, and all of our loved ones who deserve safety, warmth, dignity, and community. As we light candles from many traditions, may every flame remind us that light grows when we share it. May this time hold us in reflection and send us gently into the days ahead.
Hello. I wanted to today. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay, so we gather today to pour libation. Libation is a practice of many different indigenous cultures, but in the African culture, we pour libation at the opening of ceremonies. And so it is a way of honoring our Creator God. It is also a remembering of our ancestors. So when we do pour libation, I invite you to say the name of someone you would like to remember as we pour libation. But in the opening of the ceremony, we ask the eldest person permission. Is there anyone who is the eldest person here? Okay. So I ask your permission. Is it okay to start this ceremony?
Yes.
Amen. So we now have permission from our eldest person to pour libation. We pour libation for our ancestors. We pour libation. You can freely say the name of anyone you would like to remember. We pour libation for our loved ones who paved the path to make us who we are today. We pour libation and thanks for our Creator God, the one who created us and has blessed us. We pour libation for our community. We pour libation for our union students. We pour libation for immigrants and those suffering, the homeless. We pour libation for those suffering genocide and violence. We say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay.
Hello again. I wanted to share today, not to share, but rather to remember and uplift voices of international students here on campus and immigrants here in this nation and in different nations, and refugees and displaced people and homeless people. And in the light of that, I would like to share a reflection from my friend Arvin Theodore, who's a PhD student here. He wrote this reflection back in 2023 and has shared it multiple times here in chapel, and I feel like it's my obligation to always bring this reflection and to ask you all to contemplate on it with it. And this is how it goes. We international students are not a monolith. We don't each have a narrative. We all have narratives. We are multiple with varying identities. We cross borders with our struggles, biases, insecurities, traumas, fears, losses, ambitions, callings, dreams, and hopes. And no airline can put a cap on the weight limit. It's unbearably heavy. On touch base, we hit the ground running. We learn and learn, suffer, mourn, nurture, and adapt. We even acclimate ourselves to a new form of impersonal greeting. Hi, how are you? And quickly watch our delight and response disappear into thin air. With time and effort, we learn about the history of the nation we are in, its leaders, its promises, violations, ethos, politics, and culture. We immerse ourselves in the narratives we read and listen to, but then we are sometimes left to ourselves, wrestling with the relevance of our own. We listen, remain quiet, speak assurance and comfort, and grow to be in solidarity with our friends and siblings. But in all this, we are sometimes, yet again, left to ourselves, wondering if solidarity is a one-way street. We international students are not all about projects, podcasts, pizzas, and pets. We are about our mothers, our songs, our leisure, our everyday. Though our work is birthed out of our experiences and survives as a signifier of our commitment, we international students cannot be reduced to our projects because, like everyone else, we are beyond. We are our ancestors, our mothers, our food, and our mundane. Today, when we look at the culture we are part of, we can acknowledge that the logic of exclusion and separateness thrives despite the prominence of the language of solidarity, community, and interconnectedness. But we must also acknowledge that this language of interconnectedness, community, and solidarity is often and unfortunately casually thrown as a remedy without ever taking into account what such language demands of us. Demands of accountability, of self-scrutiny, a change in perception, and most importantly, the intent to listen. Solidarity, therefore, is not easy. It requires much of us. It is, as womanist theologian Emily Towns would say, hard work, a process, in need of constant nurturing and growing. So come eat and drink with us, talk to us, ask about our families and our loves. It is okay to invite yourself, to randomly knock on our doors. We don't insist on appointments and prior notifications. Finally, we will never completely know what solidarity means until we start to live it, to embody it. Because if solidarity is a praxis, it is only out of the praxis of living, listening, knowing, and learning that we craft new ways of being, new ways of embodying solidarity. Now, as an international student, I feel the depth of this reflection. I know I share this experience with many on this campus and beyond. I share the experience of leaving home, my people, my holidays, and settling into a place entirely different. I learn and unlearn along the way. I pick up a new slang and try to navigate a familiar system. And in one of my classes, while reading Born with Wings, a memoir by scholar and activist Daisy Khan, I encountered a profound reflection on belonging and unbelonging, experiences that exist in a liminal space, neither fully from Tunisia nor part of America. As an immigrant woman, I have often felt the same dislocation. The Arabic term ghariba, the stranger, captures a spiritual condition that feels particularly feminine and diasporic. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Islam began as something strange and would return to being strange, so blessed are the strangers. Reading Khan's story through this lens reframes displacement not as a loss, but as a sacred journey. The stranger becomes a bearer of mercy, moving gently between two words. I want to pause here and invite us all to hold in our hearts those who during the significant time of the year are being displaced, whether through war, genocide, ecocide, unemployment, poverty, and lack of available resources needed to sustain human dignity. In the spirit of remembrance amid a political climate that threatens many who live in this seminary and beyond it, I invite you to offer prayer, whether in silence or I can hand you the mic, to uplift someone you know or someone you don't know, so that they may find warmth, food, love, shelter, and community in this cold season. We can now move to our third. It's Arvin. Sorry, it's Avinash.
Good afternoon, all of you. I was asked to talk about Advent. Advent is the season of waiting, watching, and preparing our hearts for the coming of Jesus. Each week, we light the candle during the Advent season, and not simply as a ritual, but as an invitation to take pause and to reflect on the gifts Christ brings into the world. As we light the candle, let these words guide your meditation. Here we see already the 2 candles are lit. We are in the second week of Advent. So the first week is hope. When we light the candle of hope, we meditate on it. Hope is the quiet courageous that believes God is still at work, even in darkness. If it's the promise that the world as it is today is not the world as it will always be. As this candle glows, allow its light to remind us that God's hope does not fail or fade. The second week, we light the candle of peace. Peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of Christ in every storm. It is the stillness that calms fear and restores broken hearts. Let this flame steady your spirit and invite God's peace into your life, your relationships, and our world. Week 3, joy. And for joy, we have a special candle, pink. Joy springs up not because everything is perfect, but because God is near. It is a deep, steady delight that grows even in sorrow or struggle. As this candle shines, remember that joy is God's gift, not earned but received. In the fourth week, we light the candle of love. Love is the heart of Advent. It is the love that took on flesh, shared our humanity, and entered our world as a child. This flame points us to the God who loves without limits and calls us to reflect that love one another as you love yourself. So friends, I encourage and invite you to remember these words: hope, peace, joy, and love. And feel free to share a person sitting or standing next to you. Out of these 4 words, which word you like the most and why?
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really, really meaningful. So thank you. Um, my name is Chesed, for those who don't know me. I first want to say thank you to the chapel team for inviting me to share a little bit about Hanukkah and offer a blessing. But before I do so I'm Jewish all the way. But I grew up Pentecostal, and so I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, "You're glowing." So turn to your neighbor and say that you are glowing. You are glowing. You are glowing. We're all glowing because we're also light in the world. Can you hear me? Okay. So what is Hanukkah? So the word Hanukkah actually means dedication. And it's 8 days filled with menorahs, Doritos, and lots of fried foods. Yeah. In my household, because I'm Puerto Rican, and that is a big part of who I am, I fry a lot of plantains, plátanos. So that's my fried food. The date of Hanukkah changes every year because the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar instead of a solar calendar. So sometimes Hanukkah can be late November, in late November to late December. And sometimes Hanukkah and Christmas are on the same time frame. One second, y'all. Okay, so there's lots of rituals, lots of customs in the tradition, but the most important ritual is the lighting of the menorah, or sometimes called Hanukkah. It's a 9-branch, I don't know how to say the word, but candelabra. And there's all kinds of different menorahs, different shapes in which they take form. Here you see a beautiful one that's much bigger, more traditional. This is my personal one. It still has the wax from last year that I need to clean out. But this is the one that I use for Hanukkah. And then this one was gifted to me this year, actually. So they come in different sizes, colors. So yeah, there's different kinds. Like I said, there's nine candles. But as you can see, there's one that sticks out the most, which is the middle one, and this one is called the shamash, the helper. And this is the one that you use to light all the other candles. And then, so hold on, let me show you real quick. So you would start with the shamash, and then each night you add a different candle. Thank you. You add a new candle, and you start from left to right, from right to left. Sorry. And you use the shamash to light the rest of the candles. Again, there's so much I can say, but I really want to highlight the essence of the holiday. Hanukkah remembers the victory of the Maccabees, a group of Jewish rebels, I would say, during the Greek and Syrian during the Greek and Syrian rule, where during that time there was essentially forced assimilation and stripping away of, just again, forced conversion and forcing people into hiding and to not be able to practice their tradition, Jewish folks from practicing their tradition. And one of the ways in which that defilement, assimilation took place, the Greeks and the Syrians would destroy the temple and defile the temple. And then there was a revolt by the Maccabees, and essentially they were able to survive and defeat the empire. And then as they were rededicating the temple, there was enough oil for, I would say, one day. But there's a miracle that took place where the oil lasted for 8 days. And so that's the miracle we celebrate. But also we celebrate the message that regardless of empire, right, regardless of the mess of assimilation and in our current context, the policies and the actions that are being taken to erase our siblings or to force people into hiding, to hide parts of who they are. To me, it reminds me not just of that miracle, but it reminds me to live my life authentically and live my life fully. And to shine my light, that we may all shine our lights, regardless of empire and what empire might do and say, that we may be resistant and have resiliency in the midst of darkness. So that's my offering, my blessing to you all. I can't light the candles because it's not Hanukkah yet, but just imagine that I lit the candles and there's 8 candles and this. And the beauty of the candles is that each day it just gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And so it also reminds me that each of us are a light to the world. And when we come together, you're a light, I'm a light, each person is a light. And as we come together, the light just gets brighter and brighter. And may we shine in the midst of darkness. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. I did a research study on, I guess it was on creation, and looked up how we emit light that we can't even see. So we automatically glow. And so just remember that you have a glow, but how bright can your light get? Wow. So I'm going to represent Kwanzaa. It is an African American tradition that was created for several reasons, but it transcends religion. So all are welcome to participate because all of the principles and values are human, right? So Kwanzaa is observed for 7 days, and there is a different value for each day. On each night, and this takes place after Christmas, on each night a candle is lit to observe the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And so one principle is umoja, called unity. So I want you to think about ways that you can live out unity in this season when there is so much turmoil or when people are away from their family. How can you live out unity? The next one is kujijakulia. That is self-determination. Can we say that? Self-determination. We are all determined to get our work in, right? So let's think about ways that we can be intentional about taking care of ourselves during this season. The next one is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Collective work and responsibility. What do we need to do? How can we work together? We've all come together to represent all of our religious cultures and general cultures just to celebrate the season. That is collective work and responsibility. We have a responsibility to one another. The next one is Ujama, cooperative economics. How do we share what we have? So let's think about that in this season. And I think we have someone here that sort of represents the next one, which is Nia. It's purpose. Let's say purpose. Remember, we all have purpose here. The Creator made us with purpose, and we need to live out that purpose. And then there is Kuumba, creativity, which I love. We can always find ways to be creative in our lives, creative in what we do and how we live and how we live out our lives in this world. And last is Imani, faith. What do you believe? How do you believe? And how do people see the Creator in you? That is Kwanzaa. And it is open for all to participate in and be reflective and to celebrate. But in this season of time, let us remember those qualities and all of the qualities that were represented here today and all of the principles represented here today. And so I will turn it over to Dee.
Can you tell us a little bit about the candle colors?
Oh, so the candle colors, it's red, black, and green. We improvised on it. You're welcome to light a candle just so that your light can shine brighter. But red stands for the blood, black stands for the people and unity, and green stands for the earth.
Okay. Does anybody have anything to share? Any words, any names, any intentions for this season?
I intend to finish my final project.
May it be so.
My intention is to rest. Yes.
I think just reflecting on what Sophia was saying, I've been thinking a lot about a friend of mine who I lived with before coming here, who is from Mauritius and has been in the UK now for 20 years, illegally, and I was having going through a court process. In the UK, if you stay there for 20 years, you can theoretically be on a path to citizenship. So he's having a court case about that and got rejected. So he's now appealing that court case, And so I'm just praying for him a lot, thinking about him a lot. I appreciate Sophia's words today about, the struggles that the whole international community is facing. The UK is not too dissimilar to the US when it comes to treating, migrants and people with injustice. So if we could just pray for him, or just have him on our hearts and minds as we do this process, I'd appreciate that.
I intend, after hearing here, especially the reflection, which I always have in mind, is just to be always more conscious about. I don't want to call it's not strangers, but is we call foreigners, but then we all who's not who's not. And it's because in one way or the other, at one time in our life we have been, and if for some reason after we become pleasant, and the place that we are, we forget that experience, and then we lose that touch, thinking of the others, and then to know that every time that we sit at that I sit at the table with my family, I just make it very conscious of that that there's other people. That I have company, but might have somebody who doesn't have company, and then I would pray that somebody, and then I can be just conscious of that I will be that person. I mean, not delegating that to somebody else to do it, but then I can just make myself, or that I'm accountable for that. So I think it does for this year.
I'm praying for rest and reflection for all of us. And my intention is to keep opening up in new ways.
May we tap into joy and rest. It's been a long, long semester. So, we have some copies of also some more information on Hanukkah if you want to take one with you. Or share it with someone else so we don't waste paper.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you found similar in the Muslim culture that Kwanzaa has?
Yeah, I mean, going through this whole planning yesterday, when Denise said Nia and Imani, I think it was like Arabic to me. And I think it's also Arabic and Swahili. I think it's also coming from that language. It's very interconnected, and how like Nia is intention, but also I think has aspects of purpose. I don't know, Jacob. Imani is faith too, and I feel like there is a lot of resonance in like what you have shared, and there is a lot of things that are like connected, and we don't know, or we know when we're doing something like that. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I know it's time for community lunch. We can like leave things. We have tea and hot chocolate, hot cocoa. Yeah, we can have like lunch, and then you can come back and have something warm for the rest of the day, and cookies and Oreos, I think. Yeah.
Do you want to share an intention that you have for this time?
I think the main intention that comes up for me is to just love on my family, love on my people. But when I say my family, my people, it's not an exclusive definition. So now that the semester's over, I try to do it during the semester too, but like I feel like I have a lot more capacity to go an extra mile for those I love.
So one last thing before we leave, I would like for you to open one palm up, and then the other one. So this one's up so that you're blessing the person and you're getting blessed by the other person. And so please just your intentions for each other. You're giving one to somebody, and you're giving, yeah, you're taking and you're giving.
So we're all made of energy. And I felt energy coming from you. And I felt energy moving around into this space. So I want us to realize that we are one. No matter what our differences are, we are one. No matter what we're going through, we are one. We share pain together just as much as we share love and joy and peace. So, as you have given and as you have received, whatever it is that you need to let go of, brush it away right now. And wherever you find peace and joy and wherever your Creator lives in you or around you, I want you to receive that and pour it on you. Embrace it. Let it shower over you. Let it hug you. Let it fill you. And dance in that spirit. Amen.
Thank y'all.